VPH-Share is an integrated project funded under the 7th Framework Programme in the Virtual Physiological Human Initiative. It's about sharing tools, models and data within the VPH community. We identify that our community is particularly data hungry. In order to access data, first it needs to find data, and we're very aware that there is a major problem with what is the currency for sharing data. Why should somebody who is in possession of data which may be sensitive, which may be valuable, why should they share it with other members of the community? There is clearly an academic currency. The academic currency is citations, publications. If people use your data, they will cite you. So that's a relatively easy case. There are other sort of rather more noble cases, such as the requirement to improve clinical care across the world, across the community. And VPH-Share is just seeking to make it possible, first of all, to find data and to find models and tools. So very often people wish to develop their own model, they wish to develop their own tool, but there are many things out there in the world already that can be tremendously valuable and complementary to the things that you yourself as a VPH researcher are seeking to develop. So the idea is that you can take a fully established workflow that's got all the components to go, for example, from a medical image to a clinical diagnosis, and you can plug into that your particular element and see how it affects the final decision. So it's possible to access a lot of expertise that's outside your own particular area of expertise and interest through the VPH-Share toolkit and to develop new applications. And another of our targets is virtual collaborations, where first of all you can collaborate with the top people in the world in other areas outside your own, but which are complementary to make a full workflow, and you achieve that by downloading the workflow, plugging in your part, and who knows, if you prove that your part is better than what they're using already, you can form a real collaboration. We see VPH-Share as a very open network. It is a system that allows you to find data, to find tools, to find models. An important part of that is annotation. So it's all about finding the metadata that identifies that things that might be valuable to you do exist. And then VPH-Share will put you in touch automatically with the people who own the data or the model or the tool, and it will be your responsibility to enter into a contract with them. So VPH-Share is very much about a very large net to find what you need to find, to offer what you wish to offer. So P-Medicine has a much more tightly defined focus for specific clinical purposes or clinical and research purposes. So P-Medicine has its own infrastructure, which in some ways is complementary to the VPH-Share infrastructure. VPH-Share is more open to the community. P-Medicine is closed or relatively closed, but is partly as a consequence of that closure much more appropriate for the design of a clinical trial, for the oversight of a clinical trial. So P-Medicine is concerned with identifiable clinical data, but also with a concept that they've introduced of de facto anonymized clinical data and mechanisms for storing and for accessing that. So they're generally much more interested in a closed group of users who have already defined a protocol, an access, an endpoint, and therefore are closer to clinical end use. VPH-Share, as I said, is more open, and the two are certainly regarded as complementary. I'm sure that both of us regard the other project as very strong, but with a different target market. The main benefit of the collaboration with P-Medicine is that P-Medicine can make available some really valuable models, tools and data They will, of course, have potential users of the P-Medicine data will find those data through the VPH-Share infrastructure and will be put in contact with P-Medicine, in fact with custodics, I guess, and then it will again be the responsibility of the end user to sign the appropriate contracts with custodics to access those data. But we expect that VPH-Share will expand the client base of P-Medicine significantly. Further than that, VPH-Share has been particularly concerned with the hardware infrastructure, the modes of operation, and in particular cloud applications. And already at the second year review, both P-Medicine and VPH-Share were able to demonstrate the operation of the on-call simulator from P-Medicine within the VPH-Share hardware infrastructure. And we regarded that as a very strong demonstration of the projects working together. VPH-Share enabled the operation, or the effective and efficient operation of the on-call simulator through the VPH-Share cloud infrastructure for the immediate benefit of both projects. The benefit of VPH-Share for the clinician is to find tools, models and data within the community that might be appropriate for their particular use. We can conceive that there may be clinicians who are interested in the P-Medicine applications, for example the on-call simulator, but who might not have either the IT expertise or the hardware resource to operate that system. But by an agreement with P-Medicine, they could have access to the system, and by agreement with VPH-Share, they could access the IT infrastructure to operate that resource. So once again, it's a sort of two-tier thing. In that case, the basic tool comes from P-Medicine, but the infrastructure to operate that tool in the wild, in a less controlled environment, would come through VPH-Share.